On the Global News Express, Tinubu Oborewori meets in Aso Rock. Niger governor plans partnership with China on railway network. Court denies Nnamdi Kanu bail. Wike says 1.15 trillion naira FCT budget to transform Abuja rural areas. Gaza's entire population facing acute food insecurity, Blinken warns. And in sports, Ronaldo dropped from Portugal's squad to face Sweden. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television. We're live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has called on the newly sworn-in officials of the Federal Capital Territory Administration not to perform below the expectation of the administration. The minister gave the charge during the swearing-in of the first head of service, permanent secretaries, chairman and commissioners of the FCT Civil Service Commission, Abuja Metropolitan Management Council and Satellite Towns Development Department in Abuja. He says his administration will send those who will fail to perform parking. Kike Lomo Okere has details.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory charged the new officials to be committed and loyal, saying that they owe it to President Bola Tinubu to make sure that FCT works. He described the occasion as a memorable day for FCT, urged the new appointees to support the government of President Tinubu in realizing the New Hope agenda and warned the newly sworn-in permanent secretary against performing below expectation and undue delay of files, adding that there will be issuance of queries for non-performance.
Again, to the permanent secretaries, yes, you have been made a permanent secretary, but you know what comes with it. As a permanent secretary, you have become a political appointee. Did you write the exam to a permanent secretary? So you know the implication of that. If you perform below expectation, there's nothing like querying. There's nothing like querying him as proper civil service rules. We have no time for that. We'll just send you packing as permanent secretary. So just know it very well now. I say it, I don't want to hear, now that we're heading secretariats, you have your mandate secretaries as a political heads. I don't want to hear that files are unduly delayed.
He further stated that he had directed the reshuffling of directors and the administration will defend the 2024 budget at the National Assembly.
Just recently, we found out somebody who was sabotaging the works of the FCTA. But thank God, all those bad people have all left. All those who don't want you to be independent, who wanted permanent secretaries from the Federal Civil Service, they have all left. But please, we want you to assist, we want you to support the government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu to realize the renewed hope agenda.
The FCTA officials were sworn in by the Chief Judge of the FCT High Court, Justice Hussein Baba Yusuf, represented by Justice Sivano Orji, administered their oath of office and oath of allegiance. Kike Lomo Okere, Global Television News.
The Federal High Court in Abuja rejected the bail application by the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The trial judge, Justice Binta Nyako, however, granted an accelerated hearing instead. Counsel for the IPOB leader, Aloy Ejimakor, had at the last adjourned date urged the court to admit Nnamdi Kanu to bail before the commencement of the trial. The court stated that Kanu's health condition was deteriorating, adding that his continued detention by the DSS was a threat to his life. Ejimakor also argued that the continued incarceration of Kanu would not enable him to put up a good defense in the matter. But the counsel for the FG, Adegboyega Awomolo, senior advocate of Nigeria, urged the court to dismiss the bail application and instead grant an accelerated hearing. He noted that the DSS has a medical facility that could take care of him. The governor of Delta State, Sheriff Oberewori, has briefed President Bola Tinubu on the 16 soldiers that were gruesomely murdered in Okwama community of the state. Briefing State House correspondents after meeting behind closed doors with the president. The governor said that the situation is under control, ensuring that there will be no more further attacks. The governor declined to perform the reports of reprisal attacks allegedly carried out by the military and the number of casualties, saying that being a security issue, there are certain things he cannot say in public. He said that he met with the security heads in Bomadi on Monday, but has been unable to meet with the community involved because the place of the incident is completely deserted. National President, Nigeria Labour Congress, Joe Ajaero, has called on the federal government to pay the 4 months withheld salaries of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational Associated Institutions. This was in reaction to the 7-day warning strike that SANU and NASU began, which grounded universities' activities across the country. SANU and NASU had for about a month called the attention of the government to its exclusion from the payment of the withheld salaries, which it commenced payment for the Academic Staff Union of Universities in February. The salaries were withheld when the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari involved a no-work, no-pay policy against the Academic Staff Union of Universities and SANU for embarking on a strike that lasted 8 months and 4 months in 2022, respectively. Abia State Governor Dr. Alex Oti has approved the payment of bursary awards to Abia State indigents in law schools across the nation. The State Commissioner for Information and Culture, Oke Kanu, disclosed this while briefing journalists on the outcome of this week's Executive Council meeting presided over by the governor in Umuahia on Monday. He says the approval of the bursary was in keeping with the premium the state government places on education. He added that the state government has approved the renovation of 170 primary schools, which translates to 10 primary schools per local government. Sokoto State Governor Ahmed Sokoto has ordered the immediate relocation of a dumping site from the vicinity of the central markets that was gutted by fire. The governor gave the directive when he visited the markets for an on-the-spot assessment of the situation. In a message posted on his social media handle, the governor called for the evacuation of debris within the environment within the next 3 weeks. Meanwhile, the Federal Road Safety Corps FRSC has disclosed that 10 persons were killed in the Abuja-Kaduna road crash, while 48 sustained various injuries. This was contained in a statement by the Assistant Corps Marshal and Corps Public Education Officer Jonas Agu in Abuja. According to the statement, the crash, which involved a DAF trailer, occurred as a result of excessive speed, overloading and fatigue. This, however, caused the driver lose control of the wheels, thereby crashing into a ditch along the route. The reports from the crash also revealed that it occurred at exactly 10:30 and involved a total of 172 people, all male adults. Unfortunately, 10 victims were killed, while 48 were rescued with different degrees of injuries. The Abuja Zonal Command of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has handed over documents of properties and 324 houses recovered for Kano State pensioners to the affected individuals. The development was a result of an investigation carried out by the EFCC into a 4.1 billion naira pension trust fund denied pensioners by successive Kano State government administrations. The EFCC probe followed a petition by a group known as Concerned Kano State Workers and Pensioners over the alleged misappropriation of pension funds in the state. The spokesperson for the anti-graft agency, Dele Oyewale, revealed the development in a statement on Monday. He noted that the properties were handed over to the affected persons following a final forfeiture order granted by Justice Inyang Eko of the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja. Moving on, the Adamawa State Police Command has arrested 58 suspected criminals after a raid across different locations in the state. The Adamawa State Commissioner of Police, Damkobo Morris, said this when he addressed newsmen in Yola, the state's capital. Morris said the suspects included 40 young men who were believed to be members of a notorious group, Sheila Boys. 11 of them were arrested for kidnapping, while 7 were arrested for armed robbery. The Edo State House of Assembly has directed the state's Chief Judge, Justice Daniel Okungbowa, to set up a 7-man panel to investigate the allegations leveled against the state's Deputy Governor, Rai Philip Shaibu. The State Assembly is accusing the Deputy Governor of misconduct and divulging government information to the public. The panel is expected to carry out a thorough investigation into the allegations and make necessary recommendations. The brief sitting was presided over by the Speaker, retired Honorable Blessing Agbebaku. Recall that the Edo State House of Assembly earlier this month began an impeachment move against Shaibu, accusing him of constitutional infractions. But Shaibu denied being served with impeachment notice from the State House of Assembly as claimed by the Speaker, Honorable Blessing Agbebaku, during plenary. You're watching News Express, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Express returns, Niger governor plans partnership with China on railway network. This and other stories coming right after this break. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, if you've just joined us, this is Global Television, bringing you live broadcast of the News Express. On the foreign scene, a bus carrying students from a top Kenyan varsity collided with a truck on a busy highway after skidding in heavy rain, killing 11 of them and seriously injuring 42 people, according to the police. The accident occurred at 5:50 p.m. at Maungo, 360 kilometers from the capital Nairobi, when the students from Kenyatta universities were traveling to the coastal town of Mombasa. 10 people from the Kenyan varsity died on impact and another died later in the hospital, adding that 42 people were seriously injured. The police report said the driver of the university bus was overtaking a fleet of motor vehicles, and as it was raining heavily, the bus skidded to the right side of the road. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has said all of Gaza's 2 million people are experiencing severe levels of acute food insecurity, the first time an entire population had been so classified. He says when questioned about conditions in the territory, Blinken called on Israel to prioritize providing for those in need. UN agencies have said North Gaza could face famine by May without a pause in the fighting and a surge in aid. Blinken's warning came during a trip to the Philippines as U.S. officials announced that he would then travel to the Middle East in his 6th trip to the region since October as efforts to secure a ceasefire continue. We'll take a quick break. The news continues shortly. Many thanks for staying with us. An elite unit of South Africa's police has raided the Johannesburg home of the Speaker of Parliament, Nosiviwe Mapisa-Galakulu, over corruption allegations. She has been accused of soliciting bribes in return for awarding contracts when she served as defense minister. The police unit was acting on behalf of state prosecutors who have been carrying out an investigation. The statement from Parliament said that the police conducted a search and seizure procedure at Mapisa Nkakula's residence, adding that she welcomed the investigators into her home, cooperating fully. During the 5-hour search, the 67-year-old veteran of the anti-apartheid struggle became speaker in 2021. Before that, she served as defense minister for 9 years. Now over to business. Abia State Governor Alex Otti says the state government plans to secure loans to implement the 2024 budget, adding that already the Islamic Development Bank has approved $125 million for the state. Otti disclosed this during a chat with journalists in Umuahia, the state capital. He added that the African Development Bank has also approved some funds for the state. The governor said 2 days ago the Islamic Development Bank approved a sum of $125 million for U.S. under ABC, as well as the African Development Bank, AFDB. All is yet to be drawn until after perfection. Meanwhile, Nigeria's total imports grew to 35.9 trillion naira in 2023 from 25.5 trillion naira recorded in 2022. According to data by the National Bureau of Statistics, a breakdown of the data showed that in the first and second quarters of 2023, total imports stood at 6.4 trillion naira. It increased to 9 trillion naira in the third quarter and again to 14 trillion naira in the fourth quarter. By volume, manufactured imports topped the chart with imports worth 18.3 trillion naira. Agric imports stood at 2.2 trillion naira, while imports of raw materials totaled 3 trillion naira. On the other hand, Nigeria was able to churn out exports worth 35.9 trillion naira. However, much of these were under the category of crude oil, which constituted 29 trillion naira, while exports of other oil products stood at 3.5 trillion naira. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, says the 1.15 trillion naira 2024 proposed FCT statutory budget was designed to transform the capital city and rural communities. Wike stated this when he appeared before the Senate and House committees on FCT to defend the proposed statutory budget in Abuja. He explained that out of the 1.15 trillion naira, 421.44 billion naira was earmarked as recurrent expenditure, representing 36.7%, while 726.3 billion naira was set aside for capital expenditure, representing 63.3%. He also explained that the proposed capital expenditure would be dedicated to the development of infrastructure with an emphasis on the completion of ongoing projects. In a bid to alleviate the hardships faced by families of fallen heroes within the Nigerian Police Force, Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, has distributed checks totaling over 1.5 billion naira to 727 beneficiaries. During the presentation ceremony at the force headquarters, Egbetokun underscored the sacrifices made by the deceased officers, reaffirming the force's commitment to supporting the bereaved families. Kike Lomo Okere has details.
Speaking shortly before the presentation of checks to the family of 727 officers who lost their lives in the line of duty, the Inspector General of Police says the regular payment of entitlement of deceased police officers is aimed at motivating serving personnel to put in their best at all times, while assuring those awaiting payment that all pending backlog will be settled promptly.
I want to provide a steadfast assurance that this administration is fully committed to resolving all pending claims and backlogs that existed before June 2023 when we assumed office. We pledge to continue our efforts without pause until every due benefit has been rightfully disbursed. Once more, I wish to extend my profound commendation to the officers and men of the Force Insurance Section for their relentless commitment and exemplary service. I also want to express my sincere gratitude to all our partner insurance companies. Your collaborative spirit and prompt responses have been crucial to the success of today's event. I urge you to maintain this level of performance, ensuring the swift resolution of any remaining claims, as your efforts are vital to the well-being of our forces families.
The police boss further directed the insurance department to expedite process of pending claims for the families of the heroes, ensuring swift payment. Speaking on behalf of beneficiary, Chibuzo Onyebuchi expressed gratitude to the force for its steadfast support.
We appreciate the IGP, the Inspector General of Police, the Deputy IGP, and the Force Insurance Office for your support towards us today. We can't appreciate you people enough for the check given to us. We pray that God Almighty will reward you people back in Jesus' name.
This is the fifth since Egbetokun administration. Notably, this distribution brings the total amount disbursed to the families of the deceased officers under the group life insurance scheme of the force to 1.6 billion naira. Kikelomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Abdul Bergi Ebo disclosed this in a statement posted on his X handle. According to Ebo, during the meeting, they discussed working out a partnership to establish a railway network that would span the state's 3 geopolitical zones as well as Abuja. Follow us across all social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.